when you look back sometimes at things that were scary, and then you look back after you've conquered that milestone, you look back at it and you think, what was I worried about?
Y'all, today's show is so good.
But number one, I've never seen an intro like that.
It is my hope and desire that not only will episode 30 still be fun, but episode 300 will be even more fun. You are made for something great, so go and be awesome.
Ten seconds remaining.
Hello, and welcome to the show. My name is Renee Hastings, and I'm your host of Renee Speaks. Y'all, today's show is so fantastic, and I'm super excited to share that today's episode is brought to you by Executive Help Now. At Executive Help Now, we're all about simplifying your business so that you can focus on what really matters, from streamlining operations to managing administrative tasks and keeping everything organized. Our team is here to help you thrive. And if you're ready to make life a little bit easier, visit us at www.executivehelpnow.org. Now, today's guest is nothing short of a miracle. So her name is Ange Dove, and she is a business coach, author, and speaker who turned her side hustle into a thriving 20-year online business. After moving to Singapore from the UK with no network, she built a multi-million-dollar online business while balancing a corporate job and family. Now she helps passionate professionals launch and grow profitable online businesses by simplifying tech, streamlining processes, and providing actionable strategies for success. Y'all put your hands together for Ange Dove. Hey, Ange.
Hi, Renee. Thank you so much for having me. That's an awesome intro and all the music. I was ready to dance away.
Oh, I'm so glad you like that. Yeah, we like to keep it live around here.
Yeah.
Well, Ange, I am just so thrilled and excited to get to know you just a little bit better because as an entrepreneur, as a woman, with as some of us have husbands and some of us have children, some of us have full-time day jobs, but we still have this passion and desire and gift and talent that we don't exactly know how to balance with all of those things and fully realize our ultimate dream of success. And now, in this day and age of technology, things are even moving at a more rapid pace, and trying to stay cutting edge and innovative in the midst of all the noise going on around, it can be daunting, like overwhelming. Would you agree?
Absolutely. And it's just getting faster and faster all the time now that we have AI as well. Things always change. They would always used to change, but they change at a slower rate. Now it's just picking up speed. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Exciting times, but also, unexpected times, I would say.
For sure. Now, tell me, Ange, when you started your business, your online business, did you ever imagine that it would grow to this scale and scope?
Well, I didn't even imagine I'd have a business, actually, to be honest. I used to brand myself in the early days as the accidental entrepreneur, because I did not plan to run a business. If you'd have asked me I suppose now 25 years ago, if you'd have said to me, you will be running your own business, I would have said, what planet are you on? There's no way. I had no experience, no background. I didn't know anybody that ran their own business. So it wasn't really in my wheelhouse, and it wasn't on my plan at all.
Wow.
And really, I got started because it was just at the dawn of the internet. We got our first home computer, and I started to realize that I could offer writing services to people and send them the work through email. Although the first time I tried to do that, I didn't know how to send an attachment. That's how green I was, right?
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
so files can be challenging.
Yeah. So it was just, as I say, the dawn of the internet. And my kids, I had 2 kids under the age of 2. And I realized I was missing out looking after them, because I had to work full time. I had a teaching job, teaching English. I had to work full time doing that. And that was very stressful. And it took up a lot of my time. And it meant I wasn't at home looking after the kids. And my husband did that role. And then I'd get home to put them to bed, basically. So I was missing out. So I realized that if I could work from home, and I realized that having a home computer made it easy for me to do that, or possible for me to do that. So then I started researching, okay, how do I do this? Is it legal? If somebody pays me to write for them, do I have to have a company? Then I found that, yes, I did. So just purely for that reason, I registered a business.
Okay. Yes, because we want to be legal.
Yeah. And then it went from there. When you start a business today, it's so much easier than when it was when I started. I started with the yellow pages. Search engines were something new. They were new. And I started with the yellow pages, and I just randomly selected some businesses in the yellow pages, and I posted like in a direct mailer out to them, just offering my services. And I got a couple of people responding. And I also then just got on the phone, and I phoned loads of graphic design agencies, and I said, look, I'm a writer. I can help you if you need writing for your customers. So I got some regular work that way. And then I just started to build up my own client base. Then I ended up being so busy doing, wearing all the hats, that I knew I had to get staff.
Right.
Then I hired my first admin assistant. So that meant I had to get an office. So these were scary times. At the beginning, it was really scary, because it was like, okay, I've got to pay for the rent. I've got to get the money every month to pay for the rent, to pay for staff. And it's kind of like when you start to do something, you have all this like imposter syndrome, where you start to doubt yourself. You're uncomfortable. You're not sure what you're doing. But as you get more comfortable, your comfort zone kind of increases. And then the next discomfort happens, and then that increases. So you just get more and more used to being uncomfortable, I would say one thing. And as the business grew, I mean, within 6 months, I could give up my teaching job completely. And I was running the business then completely.
Wow.
Yeah.
That deserves a hand clap. I don't know if that sound effect, but that montage.
So we did that. Then we grew to a staff size of 10. So I had 10 at the biggest when I was still having a brick and mortar office. So I had an office. We obviously had to move to a bigger office over time when we got more staff. And it ended up, I sort of looking back, and this is what I was saying about your comfort zone. When you look back sometimes at things that were scary, and then you look back after you've conquered that milestone, you look back at it and you think, what was I worried about?
Right.
So that's the kind of mindset thing that I always try and look at, as imagine if I projected myself maybe a year into the future and I look back now, would I be laughing at myself for being worried? Right. So perspective kind of it, or you imagine that you're looking down on the planet and you realize how small everything is, right? And you so it kind of puts everything into perspective about, what am I worrying about? Why don't I just go and try? Right?
Exactly.
So that's really what I was thinking at that time.
I love that. And I love that your business basically started from cold calling
Yeah.
people you didn't know, that you were just putting yourself out there and
Yeah.
just calling random numbers of people in your would be your ideal clients and saying, look, I have this service to offer. I'm available. If you need something, keep me in mind and call
Yeah.
me and let's do business. And that, I
And
think,
that's
is
all it takes. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
and you don't have to be a salesperson to do
Yeah.
that. You just have to,
Yeah.
be interested in inviting other people into your world
Yeah.
and helping them with the things that they have going on to make them better.
Yes.
So I think, like you said, it's all about a mindset shift in how you're approaching growing the business or expanding your services or expanding your offering or just expanding your reach to be able to speak to strangers about who you are and what you bring to the table.
Yes. Yes, exactly. And yeah, when things start rolling, when you start to do things, then other ideas come up, or, so you meet somebody along the way that then collaborates with you, and then you end up doing something else. And it's just this constant stream of opportunities that are out there ready for you. And then it's just a case of which one do I say yes to and which do I say no to, right?
Right.
One of the tricks that I learned quite late is saying no. It's so important to say no.
Yeah, I love it when we can get to that point of saying, no, this isn't a fit, but maybe this other person over here might be able to support you or help you out, but that doesn't align with where we are and where we're going, what we see for our future and that sort of thing.
Also, just not putting too much on yourself as well.
Right,
exactly. What time you have to do things, and you can't do everything, and you can't be everything to everybody. Right.
Yes, absolutely. And so I equate what you had to do in the very beginning to kind of like us entrepreneurs reaching out into our networks, like on LinkedIn or some other social media platform, Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is, to basically promote yourself, promote your business, tell people about who you are. And taking advantage of other people's networks, I think, is so much easier than trying to just do it yourself from the phone book. Do you know what I mean? Because even though I know that's what all we had back then, now that technology is our friend, we can truly leverage that to help us. It doesn't have to be so hard anymore. We can actually develop these networks of people who know people and grow in that way as well.
And it's putting, as you say, it's putting yourself out there. It's getting seen and connecting with people, and you don't know who's behind their network, right?
That's right.
So and that's something again that I missed out doing in the early days. I tell you, I was so green when I started. So I really think if I could start a business, anyone can. And you learn from all my mistakes, right? So what I did when I very first started the business is I set up the business. I was really proud of the business. So proud. This was my baby, right? But I forgot about myself in a way. So I wasn't on the website. My name didn't appear on the website. My company, my name wasn't there. There's no picture of me. And this was at a time in Singapore where having a native speaker write your copy for you, it was so difficult to find, right? And it was in demand. It's not so much now that things have moved on and changed, but at that particular time, I left so much money on the table because I wasn't putting myself out there. But at the same time, I used to turn up for meetings with potential clients, and then they would say to me, "Oh, we finally meet you. We've heard so much about you." And I'm like, how? Because I was not putting myself out there. I was hiding. I was so scared of being on camera, right? Even having my picture taken, I was like, take that camera away from me. And then when I knew I wanted to be a coach, and I knew that video was the medium I had to be on, right? I had to get on webinars. I had to do interviews like this and things like that. I was terrified, absolutely terrified of being on camera. And as soon as you'd switch the camera on, my brain would just empty. Everything I was supposed to be saying. So that was a skill I had to learn, and I had to learn pretty fast.
Yeah, yeah. I love how you're like laying out basically the mindset shift that needs to happen in order to turn a side hustle, I put that in air quotes, into a thriving business. And part of what it sounds like you're saying is you have to dig deep within yourself to push past doubts, push past that imposter syndrome that can try to creep in and say, oh, you're not good enough, or this is, crap, and and no one's gonna want to work with you, and all
who am I?
these negative thoughts that try to take over. And so what are some solutions or some suggestions that you have for addressing when those thoughts try to creep in? What do we do?
Right. So how this happened for me, when it all sort of, it was like you could see a light bulb over my head when this happened, right? Was I had a coach, and I was actually in a seminar with this coach was speaking, and he stopped in front of me and he said, Angela, it's not about you. And it was like, ding, right? So it's like having this server mindset, right? You're giving a service, you're not selling, you're giving a service. And if you don't get out of your own way, then the people that are meant to hear from you won't get to hear from you. And they'll get to hear from somebody that might not be as suited for them. Right. So when I realized that okay, I'm just in my own way, right? And then I had to get out of my own way. So part of it was, I think part of it's age. Part of it, as you get older, you kind of don't care as much what other people think of you.
Well, that is so true.
I think so. That's what's happened to me anyway. I don't care what people think.
I love that. I'm so glad to know I'm not alone. It's like, look, this is who I am. This is what I bring. Take it or leave it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you don't like it, tough. This is what I'm doing.
Right.
I think as well, knowing that you have the one life to live, and I guess as well as you get older, you realize that you've got more years behind you than you have in front of you. Right, just a scary thing to look at. But then it's okay. You've got to make use of those years, because they're going to go real fast if you don't take the bull by the horns, kind of thing, and you really live your life how you want to live it.
Right.
And that's what running the business did for me, was enabled me to live my life how I wanted to plan it, how I wanted to live it.
Wow. That is so good. So good. I love that. So basically, get out of your own head and recognize you are valuable. Yes. You are worthy. You have nobody else on this whole planet has. And if you don't share that with other people, the wrong people could get in where you're supposed to be.
Yes, exactly.
But you don't take that leap, and you don't put yourself out there and recognize that you're not selling, you're offering a service. And people have choices. They can choose to continue living life the way they've always been, and doing things the way they've always done, and being stressed and overwhelmed. Or they can take you up on your offer to help their load and help their business grow and expand. Because if you're going to be successful, you have to be able to scale. And you can't scale by yourself. You need a team of folks.
You do. Yes.
Yeah. So, and when you're building an online business, what are the biggest mistakes that entrepreneurs make when launching an online business?
I think one of the biggest is making it too complicated. Right. I'm all about trying to make things as easy as possible. And if you're trying to do too many things at once, or you're trying to get too many things off the ground at the same time, it's better just to focus on one, get good at that one thing, and then you can shift your focus onto other things once you've got that running. So I think that's one of the hardest ones, is that they're trying to do too many things at one time and then just getting overwhelmed, right? Because it's just too much to handle.
Right.
And also not getting help is another one. I think trying to do everything yourself. So when I realized that, how easy it was to have a team. I mean, building a team brings its own set of challenges, I would say. But it's way better than trying to do it all yourself, right? So when you can get a team to share the workload and have people that do what they're really good at doing, so that you don't have to do that. And it's something that could be a struggle for you. Somebody else can do it so much quicker and easier and better than you can. And it will just make everything flow so much easier if you have a team to help you. You can't do it all by yourself. So as soon as you're able to bring on a team, I would say as soon as you can, you should do that, because it's just amazing how it speeds things up when you do bring on people. And and bring on the right people. That's one thing. That's one thing that I had to learn the hard way as well.
That part.
Also because, like, if you're starting a business and you are the expert at what you do in the business, and that's why you started the business, it doesn't mean you're an expert at running a business.
Right.
So another thing is, I would say, get help in terms of getting a mentor or a coach. And that's what I did right at the very beginning of my business 20 years ago. I knew nothing, right? I knew I had to have the help. So I did hire a coach. And that really turned my business, because he taught me how to do standing operating procedures, SOPs, so that when you do bring in people, you're not having to constantly retrain and retrain and retrain. You give them a set of instructions and it's there, and they're not guessing. They know what they've got to do. And then if there is ever any issue where there's a mistake being made or something doesn't work the way it should have done, you're not blaming the person, you're blaming the system. And you're looking at the system, and then you involve the person into fixing the system, so they feel there's some kind of ownership in it as well. That's so empowering. That's really empowering.
I love that. I absolutely love that. And I couldn't agree more. Executive Help Now, we're doing the exact same thing. And I can testify that your words are actually true and they work. And it matters who you have on the team, that you have the right people in the right place. I think there's a book called Get on the Bus, or something about a bus, and making sure you have the right people in the right seats.
Yes, in the right seats. Yes. Yeah, doing the right things. And that was one thing as well that I learned along the way. As I said, I was so green when I started. I just thought everybody was like me, right?
Oh, yes.
And then I learned along the way there are different types of people. And I've really gone into this profiling now of understanding how different people work and how they think. And you need a mixture of those people in your team, because they're all strong at one particular thing. I heard someone liken it to organizing a picnic or a barbecue. And it's, what kind of people do you need? You need the person to come up with the idea. Let's have a barbecue at this place, right? The beach. Right? Then that's it. Their job's done. They've come up with the idea. That's me. That's me. But then you need someone then, okay, who are we going to get involved? Who's going to do this? Who's going to do this? And they're the people person. And then you'll have someone who, as long as they've got a set of instructions, they'll go and execute everything, as long as they know what they're doing. And then, etc. So you've got all these different people that have different strengths that you need, and recognizing that really helped me with my business as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that analogy of likening growing your business and scaling your business to putting together a picnic, because you do need someone to, like you said, come up with the idea. Yeah, let's do this. And then actually be the one to execute. Well, so who's going to do, find the location, and who's going to bring the potato salad, and who's going to bring the desserts, and who's, all of the things. everyone serves a purpose and has different skills and expertise. And so when you're doing an online business or any business, whether you have a brick and mortar building or not, you need someone who understands the marketing aspects of running a business and the financial aspects of running a business, someone to do your books and someone to do all of, your payroll and that sort of thing. And you need all these different components of people. And most entrepreneurs try to do it all themselves. And it is not their area of expertise.
No. And even if you can do it, like I can do quite a lot of things in my business now because I've been doing it for 20 years and I know lots of it. I'm not great at everything, but I know quite a lot. But if I get myself into the trap of doing things just because I can do it, rather than letting somebody else do it while I focus on something that is going to bring in the money for the business as well. You don't want to fall into that trap of, oh, I like building funnels, so I'm going to build funnels all day, right? Because that's not going to bring money into your business until it's launched, right?
That's right. That's
someone
right.
else could probably build it faster and better than you can.
That's right.
So I say just because you can do it doesn't mean you should as well.
I love that. Just because you can do it doesn't mean you should. I love it. And you actually hit the nail on the head. It's like your job as the business owner is to bring in new business. It is to cast vision for your team.
Yeah.
And those are the things that you need to be focused on, even if you can do all the rest of the stuff.
Yes.
That's not where your value is or where how the company benefits the most from your skills and expertise.
Exactly. Yes.
So, I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. So when you are talking about the strategies that people can use to help scale their business, sustain success, how do you simplify tech and streamline business for overwhelmed entrepreneurs?
Okay. All right. Well, I would say today, there's never been a better time to start a business online than now, because the tech that we have today is just made for purpose. It was built for this reason, built for the way businesses work online. When I very first started, when I transitioned online, it wasn't that way. I had to stitch things together from different, I had multiple different apps that I was using. I had to pay multiple subscriptions to different places. And then I had to make sure that they all fit together and did what they were supposed to do. So it was way more complicated. Today, you have technology that just does the whole thing in one go on one app. And it's just so easy to use. I can build a landing page. If I take a template from what I've done in a landing page, I can build a landing page in 10 minutes. That used to be a horrendous, painful struggle. And then with AI, it just makes it easier as well. So we do have the technology. So that makes things a lot faster. Another thing I can think of is, like, I teach personal branding and I teach people how to find out and really delve into who their target audience is, what the pain points are, what they're feeling, what are they saying, what do they really want, and what's going to really move them emotionally to take up your service. So to be able to do all that work, to find that out, to research it, to write the copy, that used to take a long time to do that. And now you can run that through ChatGPT, and as long as you're putting in the right information in, it gives you absolutely fantastic things out. So this kind of thing can be done so much faster. Businesses can really, you can start a business and set it up, and you can be running and out of the gate if you know what you're doing within a week or so. You've got everything ready to go, right? It never used to be that way.
Absolutely. 100%. And even now, some website builders have built in AI where they will give you prompts of, different things to put in different places on the website and words to use to attract the people that you want to try to attract. So
I remember one time I was training live. I was doing live, and I hadn't looked at this particular piece of software for a while. And I was just demonstrating to people the different ways they could build a website themselves. So I was giving them some different options. And I said, let me show you this one. So I went into this one particular software, And it had changed since the last time I had gone in and looked at it, and it had brought in AI. This was a good number of years before ChatGPT came along. This was way before that, but it had some AI components in it. And it said, as I opened it, it said, do you want us to build it for you, or do you want to build it yourself? And I just said to my students at the time, my clients, I was saying, well, I'm sure it can't build a website for us, but let's just see. Let's give it a go.
Yeah, for giggles. Yeah, just for giggles.
Yeah. And then I did put it in, and it was like, this has worked, right? It gave the copy, the design. There wasn't much you had to change. It was amazing. So it's all like that now. It makes it so much easier to start a business when you have that, and also your costs are lower. As well. So like I can literally say, right, when I was at the peak, when I was running my business, my fixed overheads were like $80,000 a month. That's my fixed overheads, right? So it was very stressful times. I had to get the income in to pay for all of that.
Right.
And then when I transitioned, I made a slow transition over to online. So, and when I did, slowly as people transitioned out of the company, I didn't replace them with somebody else. I found someone to do it remotely in different parts of the world, right? So that wasn't a fixed overhead anymore. That was, as if I had a project in, then I would hire them during that project, things like that.
Right.
So my overheads just plummeted to really the cost of the software.
Right.
And, paying myself, and that was it. So it was such the barrier to entry to run a business today, if you're doing it online, there's almost no barriers to entry.
Right. I couldn't agree more.
You used to have to find an office. There were so many costs involved to starting a business. You don't have that now. So you have an idea, you could be running a business tomorrow, basically.
Yes, I love it. I absolutely love it. And those no truer words have been spoken. You've got an idea, you can have a business within a week, literally within a week.
Yeah.
There's no barrier except yourself.
Yeah. We are our worst enemies.
For a whole nother episode. That's right. We are our own worst enemies. We need to get out of our way and start living out our purpose, using our gifts to be a blessing to other people. That's my main takeaway from what you're saying today, is that only we as individuals have what we have. No one else has it like we have it. And we are doing people a disservice by not making the option.
Yeah.
So I love that.
You are good enough. You are good enough.
You are good enough. Yes. And you're worthy. You are worthy of greatness. You are worthy of abundance. You are worthy of it. You can do it. You can do it. Absolutely. So good, Ange. Oh my gosh, this is so good. So as we get ready to wrap up, I cannot believe how quickly the time has gone. What is one piece of advice that you would give to somebody who's on the fence about starting a side hustle?
I would say just do it, because if you're even thinking about it, if it's even in your head, maybe I would like to do this, that means you have it in you to do it. 100% sure you have it in you to do it, because there are people that wouldn't even think about running a business ever. And they're probably not built for that. But if it's something that's popped into your mind and you're considering it, then you have the aptitude to do it. So then it's just a question now of you don't know what is possible for you to do. And by going on that journey, you will find that you can do it. And if someone like me could start without even knowing how to send an attachment, or the first time my phone rang in my home office at the very, very beginning, and I knew it was for the business because I had a landline installed just for the business, and the phone rang for the first time, I didn't answer it because I was so scared. And I still wonder today. I wonder who that was.
Oh, that is so funny. so funny because I know those terrifying moments, of just getting started can really be debilitating. But when you push through and you do it anyway, you feel the fear and you do it anyway, like Joyce Meyer says, you really will be surprised at how much you're able to do. You'll do things you never thought in a million years you'd be able to do.
Yeah.
And I love how you
don't give up as well.
Say that again.
Don't give up.
That's right.
I say as well, just be prepared to make it a priority, because that's one thing that helped me was I just decided right at the start, this is what's going to set me free. Right? I knew I wasn't liking the way my life was at that time, and I had 2 young kids under 2. I was stressed. I had the job. I knew I wanted to be able to be in better control. So by building the business, I could see, okay, it's going to be a short-term pain for a longer-term gain. Yes. And I just knew that if I kept at it and I made it a priority, and, to me, it was, this will not fail. This will not fail. Right. And even like during the 2008 recession, that big meltdown there, that was a tough time. That was a really tough time. But I was like, I'm not giving up. I'm not going back to a job. I'm not going back to a job.
Good for you.
I kept going. So you're just going to have that belief that there will be ups and downs. That's one thing for sure. There will be ups and downs. And it's what keeps you going during the downs that makes the difference. It's being able to change the state, being able to, and I would say one of the biggest pieces of advice I can give for that would be just go out and go for a walk. That changes your state.
Go for a walk.
You can be having a really miserable day and everything seems like it's overwhelming. It gets on top of you. Stop what you're doing. Just get up, go for a walk, go and talk to some people outside. And then you come back in a better frame of mind. And then everything's manageable again.
Yes, I love that. What great advice. And one thing, Ange, that I found when I'm super emotionally in a bad place is a glass of ice water.
Oh, nice. Okay.
A glass of ice water. I don't know if it's a shock to your brain to like kind of smack you in the head and says, get over it. But basically that's what it does. It's so good. So good. And so simple and so free.
Yes. Yeah. And that's the thing, it's the free things, the things that just bring you back to nature, or it just helps you look after yourself, right? Then you need to look after yourself when you're running a business, because you can't look after anybody else if you're not looking after yourself. So.
That's right. 100%. So, and as we get ready to wrap up this episode of Renee Speaks, we definitely want to stay in touch with you. You have such wisdom and you've learned so much. And I'm so grateful that you are on this platform to share with our audience all your lessons learned and the different things that got you out of that space of just being a side hustle to being a multi-million-dollar online business. I'm so proud of you, number one. And I would love for our audience to be able to stay in touch with you and continue to glean nuggets, golden nuggets of your wisdom. So how do we stay in touch with you?
Okay, well, there's my website, which is my name, angedove.com. I also have, I think I've given it in the chat at some point, there's a link to a freebie that I have just to give people ideas on how, because I think one of the things that stops people from moving from their job to starting their own business, a lot of the time what stops them is that they worry about the income, right? Well, how am I going to replace my income? And I would say, don't worry about that so much, because it will happen. It will come. You'll find a way. That's what happened with me, because I had the same concerns when I left my job. But so my freebie here is just to give you different ways to be able to make money, different ideas of how to make money with your knowledge that you have now as you start your business. How can you actually bring some income in just by offering to help people, basically, as we talked about earlier, right? You're not selling, you're just offering to help people with the knowledge that you have.
Right. I mean, it's a beautiful website. I love the landing page. And if And for those of you that are listening to the podcast and audio only, you're truly missing out because this website is amazing. And if you scroll to the top of the page, you'll see in this big pink cell phone-like background, 10 proven ways to replace your corporate salary in 30 days. Yeah, Ange has thought of it all, and she is a subject matter expert. You definitely need to get on board with this and click the link, get the freebie, start gaining some knowledge that you need to get off the fence and do what you know you need to do. So, Ange, you were made for something great, so go and be awesome.